Beneath the surface of modern interior design lies a hidden spiritual danger, a specific hue that the great masters of Kabbalah have cautioned against for over 1,000 years. It is a shade you must never allow to take over your private sanctuary. And I am not referring to a color that is obviously dark or ominous. Rather, I am speaking about a tone that has been sold to you as the height of sophistication, minimalism, and contemporary elegance. This very color is likely sitting in millions of households at this moment, quietly serving as a barrier to the blessings trying to reach you. Before I pull back the curtain on exactly which color is draining your home's energy, I want to walk you through 7 magnificent, sacred colors that Jewish mystical tradition identifies as spiritual magnets for prosperity, divine protection, family harmony, and profound joy. These aren't merely decorative suggestions for a weekend project. These are precise, energetic frequencies preserved within the Kabbalistic tradition for more than 20 centuries. Once you grasp how to utilize them, your residence ceases to be just a building. It transforms into a living, breathing sanctuary of light. The ancient rabbis understood a truth that modern quantum physics is only recently beginning to validate. Color is frequency. Every pigment you choose to surround yourself with is broadcasting a distinct vibrational signature. Your walls, your upholstery, and even your smallest accessories are not inert objects. They are in a state of constant dialogue with your subconscious mind, your emotional health, and according to the deepest teachings of the Zohar, with the spiritual realms themselves. You might believe you are choosing a rug because it matches the curtains, but on an energetic level, you could be inadvertently inviting financial stagnation and spiritual blockage rather than the abundance you are destined for. The Zohar, the cornerstone of Jewish mysticism, explains that every color corresponds to a specific sephira, or divine attribute. When we introduce discordant energy into our most sacred living spaces, we disrupt the flow of Shefa, the celestial abundance meant to saturate our lives. So, before we dive into this ancient science, I want you to take a moment and type in the comment section below, "My home is a magnet for miracles." Speak those words aloud as you type them. In the Kabbalistic tradition, the spoken word is a tool of creation. By verbalizing your intent, especially within a community, you ignite what the sages call kavanah, a laser-focused intention that carves out channels for blessings to descend. As we continue, I want you to cast your eyes around your room. Observe the colors that currently envelope you. By the time this teaching concludes, you will identify exactly which tones are elevating your soul and which one might be silently sabotaging your progress. Let us begin with the primary sacred color, one that is woven into the very fabric of the Torah, white in our tradition. White is the embodiment of Tahara, or absolute purity. It is no coincidence that on Yom Kippur, the pinnacle of the Jewish year, we clothe ourselves in white to represent a spiritual reset and a return to our unblemished essence. But white's power extends far beyond the synagogue. From an energetic perspective, white represents the totality of all possibilities. It is the infinite canvas upon which the Creator writes new chapters of blessing. The Kabbalists link white to Keter, the crown, the highest sephira that connects us directly to the Ein Sof, the infinite source. By incorporating white into your home, particularly in transition areas like your foyer or near your mezuzah, you are signaling to the universe that you are in a state of total spiritual receptivity. I recall a consultation with a woman named Miriam who felt as though her life had hit a brick wall. Her professional growth had ceased, her social life felt hollow, and she felt as if an invisible ceiling was preventing her from rising. When I walked into her home, I saw the problem immediately. The space was weighed down by heavy, dark timber and somber, oppressive tones that felt like a spiritual anchor. We made a simple change. We repainted her primary living area in a brilliant, luminous white. Within 3 short weeks, the stagnation vanished. She received a high-level job offer for a position she hadn't even sought out, and she reconnected with a former colleague who became a vital partner in a new venture. White clears the path for the new. It functions as a celestial refresh button, dissolving old, stuck energies and making room for fresh opportunities. Here is a ritual you can perform tonight. As you introduce white elements into your environment, perhaps white linens for your table or a simple white vase, recite this intention. I dissolve all past limitations from this space. I open my life to the infinite flow of clarity, prosperity, and divine light. I am a vessel prepared for miracles. This isn't just house hunting or decorating. It is a sacred act of spiritual engineering, aligning your physical reality with the frequency of divine success. The second color holds a staggering amount of mystical weight, and its significance might catch you off guard. Blue, specifically the ancient shade known as techelet. For millennia, this sacred dye, which appears over 40 times in the Torah, was a requirement for the fringes of the talit. The Talmud provides a beautiful hierarchy for this color. Techelet resembles the depths of the sea. The sea reflects the vastness of the sky, and the sky mirrors the very throne of glory. This single color acts as a bridge, connecting our mundane, earthly struggles to the highest seat of divine authority. Blue carries the frequency of emunah, unshakable faith, and bitachon, radical trust in the process of life. When the world feels like it is spinning out of control, when your anxiety is screaming, or when you can't hear your own intuition because of the noise of the market, blue is your spiritual stabilizer. Interestingly, modern neuroscience supports this ancient wisdom. Data shows that blue environments can actually trigger a physiological calming response, lowering cortisol levels and enhancing our capacity for complex, creative problem solving. By placing shades of blue in your home office or your bedroom, you are building what the Kabbalists call a vessel for binah, which is the energy of deep understanding. I once worked with a family whose household was a constant battlefield of arguments. The communication had broken down completely. We decided to paint a small peace corner in a serene, oceanic blue and placed a few comfortable chairs there. I told them this was the only place in the house where they were allowed to discuss disagreements. A month later, the father reached out to me, stunned. He said it was as if the room itself demanded respect. They found themselves speaking softer and listening longer. That is the corrective power of sacred blue. If you need a spiritual anchor in an emotionally volatile world, look to the sky. The third color is the ultimate signature of Jewish identity and regal power, gold. In the tabernacle and the temple in Jerusalem, gold was the dominant theme. The menorah, the Ark of the Covenant, and the holy altars were all bathed in this precious metal. Gold was chosen because it is the most perfect earthly reflection of the divine light. It does not rust, it does not tarnish, and it is effectively eternal. In the system of the Sephirah, gold resonates with Tiferet, which represents harmony and beauty, as well as Chesed, the attribute of overflowing loving kindness. Gold vibrates at the frequency of true prosperity. This isn't just about the balance in your bank account, though it certainly influences that. It is about a prosperity of the spirit. It is the frequency of confidence, radiance, and the recognition of your own divine value. The Mishnah teaches that every human being is beloved because we were fashioned in the divine image. Having gold in your home serves as a constant subconscious reminder of royal lineage. You are not meant to struggle in the shadows. You are meant to shine. Here is a secret I usually reserve for my private students. The kitchen is the financial altar of the home. In our tradition, the table where we eat is as holy as the altar in the temple. When you prepare food with gratitude and intention, you are performing a ritual of sustenance. To activate the energy of provision in your kitchen, place one intentional gold object there. It could be a small tray, a gold-rimmed bowl, or even a single gold spoon used only for special occasions. As you set it down, say, just as gold reflects the light, this home reflects abundance. Just as gold is enduring, my family's blessings are multiplied and sustained. You are tuning your kitchen to the frequency of enough and more. The fourth color is intense, visceral, and absolutely vital if you have been feeling uninspired or stuck in a rut. Red. Now, I know some designers tell you to avoid red because it's aggressive, but the Kabbalists saw it differently. Red, in its sanctified form, is the color of Gevurah, which means strength, focus, and healthy boundaries. It is the color of the life force itself. The Hebrew word for red is Adam, which is inextricably linked to Adam, meaning man, and Adama, meaning the earth. We are literally built from red earth. Red is the fire that fuels your ambition. It is the courage to start that business, the passion to revive a relationship, and the vitality that drives you to protect what is holy. If your marriage has become a list of chores rather than a partnership of souls, red is your spiritual wake-up call. You don't need to paint your bedroom like a fire station. A few intentional touches are all that's required. A vibrant red tapestry, a pair of crimson Shabbat candles, or a single piece of red art can inject a dormant space with immediate momentum. I once consulted for a couple who felt their connection had evaporated after 15 years. They described their home as gray and lifeless. We introduced a bold piece of red abstract art into their private space and asked them to light red candles every Friday night with the specific intent of remembering why they first fell in love. Within 60 days, they were planning a second honeymoon. The color didn't create the love. It simply provided the heat necessary to melt the ice that had formed over it. The fifth color is more subtle, but its healing properties are immense. Green. In Jewish philosophy, green is the color of Hayim life and perpetual renewal. When the dove returned to Noah's Ark, it carried a green olive branch, signifying that the world was being reborn. Green represents the concept of Hiddush, the ability to start over and grow regardless of the past. It is the energy of the forest that regrows after a fire. Kabbalistically, green is associated with Netzach, the attribute of victory and endurance. Bringing living green plants into your home is more than an aesthetic choice. It is a biological and spiritual declaration of growth. Plants literally transform carbon dioxide into life-giving oxygen. Having that process occur in your living room acts as a powerful anchor for your subconscious, reminding you that transformation is always happening. I had a client who had tried to launch a startup for years, but every door seemed to slam in her face. We placed 3 healthy, vibrant plants in her office, and I told her to water them with a specific blessing for growth. Within 6 weeks, she secured her first major round of funding. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in aligning our physical environment with our spiritual goals. The 6th color connects us to the realm of the priesthood and royal protection. Purple. In the ancient world, the most prestigious dye was argaman, a deep purple used in the tabernacle. Because purple is the literal blend of red, the earthly, and blue, the heavenly. It represents the marriage of the physical and the spiritual. It is the color of Malkuth, kingship, representing the divine presence dwelling right here in our material reality. Purple enhances your spiritual hearing. If you are someone who prays or meditates, having purple in your sacred space amplifies that connection. I recommend purple for the areas where you do your deepest thinking or praying. A client named Rachel once told me she felt spiritually exposed in her home, often suffering from nightmares. We added a deep purple throw blanket to her bed and a purple candle for her evening prayers. She described the change as instantaneous. The heaviness lifted, and her sleep became a source of guidance rather than fear. Purple creates a boundary that says, only light is welcome here. The seventh color is the one you see every time you light a candle or watch the sunrise, warm yellow and amber. This is the color of Or, the primordial light. In the book of Genesis, light was the first creation. The Kabbalists teach that this hidden light still exists, and we access it through our deeds and the warm frequencies we bring into our homes. Yellow and amber represent Simcha, unadulterated joy, optimism, and mental sharpness. These tones are perfect for the heart of the home, the places where you gather with guests and friends. They communicate safety and warmth. I have seen cold, isolated families transform into a hub of community just by shifting their lighting and accents to warmer golden yellow tones. It's an invitation for the divine presence to pull up a chair. One practical tip: never let your home fall into total darkness. Keep a small, warm amber light burning through the night. A home that always has a flicker of light is a home that remains under divine protection. Now, if you have followed me this far, type, I choose light and blessings for my home. This is your active participation in this shift. We have covered the 7 pillars of sacred color. But now we must address the silent thief I mentioned at the beginning. This is the most critical part of our session today. There is one color that acts as a spiritual mute button on everything we just discussed. Where white opens, this color restricts. Where gold attracts, this color repels. Where red ignites, this color smothers. Where blue brings peace, this color invites a low-level, persistent fog of anxiety. It has been sold to you as modern and timeless. You've been told it's the perfect neutral, but energetically it is a vacuum. The color that ancient Kabbalah warns us to be extremely wary of is dark gray. Stay with me, because if your home is full of gray, I have the solution. But you must understand why this matters. In the Kabbalistic spectrum, light represents connection, and shadow represents disconnection, what the sages call the Sitra Akra, or the other side. Dark gray occupies a very dangerous middle ground. It isn't black, which can sometimes represent the fertile womb of creation. Dark gray is the color of ash. It is the color of uncertainty and spiritual ambiguity. In our mourning traditions, the color of grief is not necessarily black. It is the color of ashes, gray. It is the color of the temple in ruins. Gray represents the shattering of the vessels. While grief is a sacred part of the human experience, you do not want to live in its frequency. When your walls, your floors, and your furniture are all broadcasting the frequency of ash and mourning, your spirit begins to vibrate at that same level. Modern interior design has fallen in love with dark gray, but in my years of working with families, I have seen a consistent pattern. The grayer the home, the more the residents report feeling stuck, emotionally cold, or financially blocked. You are in a constant energetic exchange with your walls. If they are broadcasting fog, your mind will feel foggy. Science is catching up, too. Studies show that gray-heavy environments can lead to decreased motivation and lower serotonin levels. You are trying to build an empire of light while living in a room of smoke, but do not panic. If you have gray in your home, you can neutralize it. The antidote is to pierce the fog with the sacred colors. You counteract the gray by placing vibrant, alive art on those walls. Not more gray art, but art that breathes with red, gold, and green. You flood the space with living plants. Their life force will literally push back against the stagnation of the gray. Most importantly, use warm amber lighting. Never let a gray room be dimly lit. That only invites the shadow to settle, Stand in your home today and make this declaration. I recognize this shadow, but I call in the light. I transform this space from a place of stagnation to a sanctuary of flow. My home is alive. Within the next 72 hours, take one physical action. Buy a plant, change a light bulb to a warmer tone, add a splash of gold or blue. Action is the bridge between wisdom and transformation. Treat your home like the Mikdash Miyat, the small temple that it truly is. Choose colors that celebrate your existence and honor the divine spark within you. If this teaching moved you, please hit that like button so this wisdom can find its way to others who are feeling stuck. Subscribe to Abraham's Wealth Secrets, because every week I reveal more ancient codes for modern prosperity. Next week, I'm going to show you one common object that 93% of people have in the wrong place in their home, and it is literally leaking their financial energy. You cannot afford to miss it. Until then, may your home be a palace of color, a sanctuary of joy, and a magnet for every blessing the Creator has intended for you. Shalom, and I will see you in the next video.